Yet, how do you explain your criticism of Michelle Jean's dual citizenship when you hold dual citizenship?
I asked a question at the time about the fact that she held it, asking my constituents what they felt about that.
But you knew you were an American when you said that.
I was just asking questions of my constituents what they thought of that at the time. I was born in Canada. My mom was born in Mississauga. My dad was born in the United States. I grew up my whole life in Canada, and that's how I've always never tried to hide behind.
Another leader for hypocrisy when you yourself have criticized others for holding dual citizenship and you hold dual citizenship.
Well,
I don't understand how you get away with that.
on that blog post, it was a question I asked my constituents. Euh, ne, je t'ai jamais posé la question. Comme les millions de Canadiens, j'ai une parent qui est née aux États-Unis, dans un autre pays, et j'ai eu une réunion avec les représentants de l'ambassade en mois d'août, où j'ai dit que je renoncerais à mon citoyenneté américaine. Alors, non.
Why did you wait until August until to start the process of renouncing your American citizenship until right on the eve of the election? It looks very opportunistic, but you only did it because an election was
No,
coming.
I disagree. I made the decision after I became leader of the party to do this, and I was focused on other things. I was rebuilding the party, getting ready for the election, working on the platform. It was always my intention to do it before the election. Well, so in English, just to the prior question, no one's ever asked me before about it. Like millions of Canadians, I have one of my parents was born in another country, and I met with representatives from the embassy in August, announced that I was renouncing my citizenship, and I've submitted the paperwork to start that process. J'ai toujours mon intention de le faire. J'ai des priorités pour préparer la partie pour les élections, travailler sur la plateforme, des choses comme ça. Mais c'était toujours mon intention de le faire avant les élections.
Now that the process has started, are you certain that if you win and become prime minister, you will no longer have a U.S. citizenship or the time will take off?
Well, I'm waiting to hear back confirmation from the U.S. Embassy, but that is certainly the intention.
How much taxes did you pay to the United States?
As is required by law, I've filed, and so it's a requirement that the U.S. government has.
Was that the motive? Like, what is the motive for renouncing? Was it
I
tax reasons?
No, not at all. I was born in Canada. I've lived here. I've moved to Saskatchewan. I'm raising my children here, and it's a personal decision.
What about the fact that your party has also criticized Mr. Harper in the last election and Mr. Mulcair? How do you equate that with the fact that you're a leader of that party?
Well, I haven't.
And you were speaker. How do you equate that?
I'm sorry, what is the speaker?
Well, it's just, your leader at the time was very critical. How come you hid this from Canadians?
I was never asked about it from Canadians. I've actually been very honest about it. My father's always been very open about where he's come from, and I haven't been asked a question. So
you've been honest about it. You've never told anybody.
Well, I've never been asked about it. I've never hid it.
That's concealing my omission. Don't you just live in
I would disagree.
Did you tell your party as your party was attacking other leaders and other politicians for having dual citizenship?
Well,
Did you tell your party that you also had?
As I said, I, like millions of Canadians, have one parent who happened to be born in another country, born in Canada, lived here my entire life, raising my children here in Canada, and made the decision to renounce my U.S. citizenship and start the process.
Did you tell your party that was attacking other politicians for holding dual citizenship that you also had?
Look, I've always made it known about what I feel about this issue and people who hold dual citizens with my colleagues.
Mr. Scheer, why this ride? This is a local strong Jeffrey and threatening. Why here?
Well, there are lots of seats all across Atlantic Canada that I am confident are going to turn conservative. We wanted to hold an event where we could be accessible for as many ridings as we possibly could, given geographic locations considerations and where we can get some space. So the message to Atlantic Canadians is we are working hard to earn back the trust of voters in this region. We've got a great set of policies that is all focused about leaving money in the pockets of Canadians, lowering taxes, balancing the budget. That's going to resonate in every part of Atlantic Canada.
You also heard the carbon tax about your party would obviously get rid of that, but Nova Scotia, we don't have that system. We have a cap and trade system. So how would your party impact Nova Scotia when it comes to climate change?
Well, our real plan for the environment has many different components that will apply to people in Nova Scotia, including putting an end to the practice of dumping raw sewage into our rivers, lakes, and oceans, as well as incentivizing innovation, research, and development here in Canada. So I'm confident that people in Nova Scotia are going to see a real plan for the environment.
So cap and trade is acceptable?
So the beauty of our plan is that we allow provincial governments to have the flexibility they need. There are some provinces that will decide to have a cap and trade, some that will decide to have other mechanisms. We respect that. What we're saying is that we're not going to impose a federal carbon tax or do anything in any way that would increase the cost to consumers, hardworking families.
Mr. Scheer, if you become Prime Minister, you will see documents related to national security that will be labeled for Canadian eyes only. If you're a dual citizenship, do you think you're going to be able to look at those documents? And if not, is that going to affect your ability to function as a Prime Minister?
Look, as I said, I've started the process to. I met with officials in August to said I was renouncing my U.S. citizenship, and submitted the forms and waiting for finalization. Thanks very much.